Okay, I'm going to do some basic introductions and then we'll be able to start right at the top of the hour. So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's session, Essential AI Tools for Everyday Excel Tasks with Mr. Excel himself. So, my name is Stephanie and I'll be your moderator for this event, and I'd just like to thank everybody for taking the time to join us today. So, like I said, I have with me today Bill Jelen. Bill is the host of MrExcel.com and the author of 71 books about Microsoft Excel, including Excel Gurus Gone Wild, Pivot Table Data Crunching, Excel Inside Out, and the newly released Train Your Own GPT. So he has made over 80 guest appearances on TV's Call for Help with Lee Laporte and was voted Guest of the Year on the Computer America radio show. He has produced over 2,600 episodes of his Excel video podcast, Learn Excel from Mr. Excel, and he was also a three-time commentator for the Excel World Championships broadcast on ESPN. And before founding MrExcel.com in 1998, he spent 12 years as a financial analyst for the accounting, finance, marketing, and operations departments of a publicly held company. So after this session, you will receive the recording and additional resources by Friday because Bill has some extra features that he's going to be giving out. So we want to wait and make sure you get that. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, but wait until like Friday. And then at the conclusion of the webinar, there's just a little survey, about your experience and for future webinars. We love your feedback. Anything is greatly appreciated. And as a reminder, you must complete 3 out of the 4 live poll questions during the session in order to receive your CPE credit. And then Bill will be emailing them to you directly within the next week or so. And then, of course, a little bit about us. More for Apps is a certified Microsoft and Oracle partner. We have over 400 customers and 34,000 end users. We offer nearly 30 out-of-the-box wizards and modules built specifically for organizations running on Oracle EBS and Oracle Fusion Cloud with validated integration and tight security. But let's get to what we're really here for. So, Bill, take it away.
All right. This is going to be super exciting. Stephanie, thanks for having me back. And yeah, I'm excited about what we're going to talk about today. All kinds of great artificial intelligence things, including a feature that just came out this past Monday. And like when we booked this, I knew that Microsoft said that feature might come out on Monday, but it might be a week after Monday, and I wasn't allowed to say anything about it. So I'm super glad that it's here and we can talk about it and I can show it to you. And uh, just a lot to say. All right, so this book, Mr. Excel 2025, it actually debuted back in June, but I'm rewriting 2 pages of that book to incorporate that new feature. I'm going to do that this afternoon, and we'll send the new PDF, the latest and greatest, the final PDF out tomorrow for everyone. So even if you were there in Orlando at Ascend and you already have this book, there'll be a couple of new topics, things that came along. All right, so we're going to talk about artificial intelligence in Excel, which at Microsoft means Copilot, right? But we're also going to talk about ChatGPT, and there's the ability to call either one or the other from those. All right. Okay. Say hi to Mrs. Excel. All right, so we're going to get started off here with advanced analysis, and this is something that had been on the Home tab for a long time. And I also want to really call attention here to something very important, which is whether or not the feature requires autosave to be on, right? And Microsoft's rule is that if we're using Copilot, autosave has to be on. And I frankly hate autosave because autosave means that if I accidentally make a mistake, they're going to save it, right? I want to be able to do file save as, or I choose one to save. And so a lot of these features, I reluctantly switch over to autosave to try them. But this first one, the great news about this one is that there is no autosave, right? So there's a few in this list where we don't need autosave. So that's really, really good. All right, so advanced analysis to create a pivot table from a sentence. I'm going to open an Excel file here. And what's funny is on my Home tab right here, I have 2 Copilot icons. That's a bug. There's only supposed to be one of them. And where that second Copilot tab icon is the advanced analysis, which they have since moved. They've moved it around. So if we go to the data tab, back here to the data tools, this is where text to columns is. You're familiar with that. Probably they moved analyze data there. So analyze data is a lot like Copilot. It's about 2 or 3 years old, but it does not require autosave to be on, which is great. All right, so I have a data set here. I select one cell in that data set and I go to advanced analyze data. And the first thing you'll notice is they instantly go through and they try and find interesting things like, hey, look, there were 6 dates in those 2 years where there were outliers in profit, right? And they show me four things that they figured out, and they show those four so that way we can kind of be entertained while they go find all of them. So here's all 36. And some of these are not that exciting. Like this one, they said, hey, if the quantity seems to increase, then the profit increases as well. They're correlated. Well, yeah, that's how it works. We sold more, we made more. Like that one's not exciting to me. But, there'll be some good insights here. If you get someone else's data, you can come through this. But what I really want to talk about is this box up here at the top. Ask a question about your data. This is not an Excel feature. This is a Power BI feature. If you've used Power BI, you might have a dashboard where you can actually just type an English language sentence. And I can create a pivot table or a pivot chart just by typing things. So let's say if I want to see, who are the top three customers based on revenue. And revenue is a field heading and customer is a field heading, although they understand that when I said customers, I mean customer. They have no problem with that. And I click go and they show me the sales rep and customer. Wow, it's really weird that they don't give me revenue, right? Like, so who are the top three customers based on revenue? Let's see, if I include customer name and total revenue, that would have been obvious. Like, why wouldn't they give me that? Huh, yeah, all right, so let's insert. Let's see what we get. That's so weird. They actually created a pivot table. This feature has been really, really good to me. It's never, ever done anything unpredictable like it's doing right now. Uh, I almost wonder if there's something wrong with the data. Is there some field here that's not a numeric field? So we have 563 in a numeric count. Yeah, that's really strange. All right, let's try something else. Uh, I expect in Copilot, I'm going to get some answers that surprise me, but not here. So let's say, how about a pivot chart or a chart, a pie chart? Let's go with a pie chart of total revenue by sales rep. So rep like that, right? And they offer to insert a pivot chart. We do that. And there's a chart. So like if you're not comfortable creating pivot tables, but you can type an English language sentence, then you can very quickly create a pivot table or a pivot chart. Now the problem is now that you're stuck with this, pivot table, and this is not even a pivot table. That is so strange. This one though is an actual pivot table. You see the pivot table fields appears over here, and I could take revenue out and put profit in. I could take sales rep out and put sector in. Like once they get me the pivot chart, maybe I'm comfortable enough choosing things to add or not add, right? So this is a feature that's been around for a few years. It's in the second iteration, and I love this feature. When they said they were going to come out with Copilot, it's like, well, you already have it. This works really, really well, and it's super reliable. Of course, they went ahead and came out with Copilot anyway. Why would they listen to me? All right, that's our first feature is create a pivot table or a pivot chart from a sentence. By the way, those are checkboxes. I'm sure I've shown these before on the Insert tab checkbox. That's kind of a new feature, less than a year old. Just nice thing. Google Sheets came out with that, and then Microsoft copied it. All right, now we're going to start with Copilot. These are a few Copilot examples. If you want to get a brand new worksheet, I have 3 different ways to do this. And you might know in the past, if you would go to File and New, File and New, there were a whole bunch of online templates that you could build, that you could search for. So let's say if I wanted to do an employee tracker, see if they come up with anything, what we're hoping here. So an employee absence schedule, an employee attendance tracker, employee attendance record, a project tracker. Yeah, I don't know. So like these are all free, but you're really locked in to what the person created, right? And so, this is interesting, but not what I wanted at all. I had a very specific idea in mind that what I wanted to track. I have to, track, I'm onboarding employees. And so start with Copilot is this new thing that we have when you press Control N to get a new workbook. And I'm going to copy this prompt. I want an employee tracker, columns for employee ID, employee name, hire date, and then 5 columns where I can record the activity. Have they got the handbook, sign their Form I-9, ethics statement, 401k, and medical? And then if they've done all of those, I want to see complete, right? So I'm just going to go to Control N here for new. And right in the center of my screen, it's supposed to pop up. Maybe I turn that off. File Options, Copilot, start with Copilot. Yeah, right there. So to show start with Copilot automatically for new and empty workbooks. So Control N for new. There we are. Start with Copilot. And I just describe what I want to create. So rather than go out and use one of those canned templates that we've had for 10 years, and no offense, some of my friends created those templates, right? And Microsoft hired the MVPs to go out and create all kinds of great templates, and they were sort of close, but this hopefully will be exactly what I'm looking for. Waiting, creating table to match your request. Okay, so there's columns for employee ID, employee name, hire date, handbook, Form I-9, ethics, 401k, medical, complete. It looks like they're trying to build a formula out there. And they're even adding some fake data just to show me how it works. Like that way I can check to make sure that the formula is working in column I. All right. And then I have a choice. I can either say, nope, go redo it, or I can say keep it. And it's funny, the first time I said, no, go redo it, the second one wasn't as good as the first one. You can now go back to like the first or the second one. So I'm going to say keep it. Uh, and now here they want us to turn on autosave, but we don't have to. So let's just see what's up with that. Why is that formula? The formula looks good. I wonder if it's formatted as text. Oh, that's so weird. That's like a little bug that we have there. And I should send in a note to the Excel team saying that they shouldn't have formatted that as text. So I'm just going to change it back to general and then re-enter that formula. Yeah, there we are. So complete. And if I double click to copy that down, right? If all the dates aren't in, so I fill in this one, last one, like that's a pretty cool little spreadsheet. That's a lot better than anything we would have gotten from File New. All right, so that again, that's called Start with Copilot, and it is probably happening to you anytime you press Control N, this little thing that pops up here. Initially, a lot of people were upset with that. Like, I don't need to start, and it used to be if you just started typing, if you just started typing something, it would go away. Although I've had a few times where I start typing things and it doesn't go away. So that's why sometimes if I don't want it to appear, I'll go into File Options and Copilot and turn it off. But big fan. I'm a big fan of that little feature, the Start with Copilot. And I love that we don't have to have autosave turned on in order to create that starting workbook. So, all right, come back here. Great way to build a worksheet, better than templates. Start with Copilot. All right, next one, search the internet. This is relatively new. And lots of times if I need data from the internet, I'll go out to Google and try and copy the workbook or copy the HTML and then paste it to Excel. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it unwinds the data. Sometimes you get the little icons in there. It's just super ugly. So I'm going to ask them to search the web and download population and area for each Canadian province or territory. You see the last time over here I asked for the US and that's what I got. So I'm just going to copy this. We'll come out here to Copilot. The whole key here is search the web. Like you start this feature with those words, search the web. And we'll go see how they do today. They actually did it this morning, but they wouldn't do it yesterday. They call this non-deterministic, which is a fancy name for, yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. Like that's really, I'm sure that non-deterministic is has some computing meaning. It just means that when you try Copilot, sometimes things that worked yesterday don't work today. A little annoying when it happens. But it looks like we're getting, look at that. We're getting data. It's an AI generated preview. They give me the sources so I can go see what web pages they use. That looks like CanadianPopulation.org. That's pretty good. Wikipedia, ooh, worry about that. And then WorldPopulationReview.com. It sounds official. And then, would you like me to add this information to your Excel sheet? Yes, insert to a new sheet. I really want to put it right here, but that's not an option. And there I get a new sheet. Now I just cut and paste and put it wherever I want it to go. For those of you who use Microsoft Word, what was I ever doing in Word? I don't know. Word does not let you insert it into the document. You have to copy it. You have to copy from the pane and paste into Word. So I appreciate that the Excel team actually gave us the ability to insert into a new sheet. That's pretty good, right? So again, the whole trick there is search the web. and then tell him what you are looking for. And so that's a cool one. All right, next up, take a picture with your phone. Take a picture with your phone. This is so crazy. Um, right here. Here's my phone. So uh, get data from a picture on the phone. Start with this workbook. And I'm just going to come here and go to Copilot. Now, this is a little subtle down here at the bottom. We have to turn on autosave. All right, so I'll turn on autosave here. And then next to message Copilot, there's a little plus sign, and that lets us add. I'm going to add an image, and I'm going to say upload from the phone. And I take my phone out, got my phone here, and I'm going to hold the camera up to that little QR code. And there we are. It opens a web page. On that web page, I can either take a photo. I have a choice to take a photo or choose a selected image. So I'm going to select image from my photo library. And I just have a nutrition label that I scanned, took a photo of. All right. And it says here, image sent may take a few seconds. You may now close this page. All right. So we're waiting for that to appear on the computer. There we are. Oh, look at that. So there's our image. And I'm going to say extract the text from this image. Stephanie, we're going to be doing our first CPE question right after this example. So,
Yeah, sounds good.
all right. Analyzing the image. If there's any faces that are going to be blurred to protect privacy. Okay. All right. Okay. So it looks like it's pulling the data in. And here, it's funny, today I don't have insert, but I do have copy to the clipboard, and then paste. Yeah, boy, it kind of unformatted it. Not the best example right there. But not bad, right? And what I really love is it got almost everything right. If you come back here to the data tab, they've had this from picture for a couple of years. This thing, if you've ever tried it, it's just horrible. It never ever works. You spend more time, like 95% of them have errors, and you end up retyping the whole thing. All right, so get picture from phone. Works much better than it worked today a lot of the time. Right, so I'm a big fan of that. All right, Stephanie, let's put up that first CPE question. All right, which of these might you use image to text for? A, store receipts for your expense report. B, pictures of a PDF. C, handwritten notes. Or D, price lists. Great. I'll open the next workbook here while you are filling that out.
Yeah, I'll give everybody like another 10 seconds or so. All right, last call. Ooh, there's still, okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay,
Right. All
there
right,
you go.
good. Yeah, so it's just across the board, right? Handwritten notes, that sounds really wild. I would love to try that. I'm gonna have to try that one. So yeah, that's good. This was every answer is a right answer there. All right, so thanks for that. All right, next up, clean data with Copilot. I'm obviously in Windows, but Excel for Windows or Excel for Mac, those are the desktop versions of Excel. And a lot of people on the Excel team, they're really big into Excel Online, which just drives me crazy. Like, why would you use Excel Online when you have this awesome real Excel here with all the features? And this feature that I'm going to talk about next, back here on the data tab called Clean Data, actually debuted in Excel Online. And it was just in Excel Online for a few months, which is kind of like this thing that Microsoft loves to do. They love to put something in Excel Online and test it with that small little group of people out there who are using Excel Online. And then once they're convinced it's working pretty well, then they'll bring it to Windows. So they brought it to Windows probably about 3 or 4 months ago. Clean data definitely requires autosave to be on. And it's so weird. You have to have autosave on before you open the workbook, right? If you open the workbook and then turn autosave on, clean data will not work. right? So this morning I had to go to this workbook, turn autosave on, and then save it with autosave on in order for clean data to work. So the idea here, look at that, in the info bar, they already have 4 suggestions to clean your data, but I don't want to see their suggestions. I want to do this one worksheet at a time because I want to go my specific order. So I have a data set here and I want to look for anomalies in the data. Now, one thing that I know is somewhere in here, I have a number. So numerical count is 8 and count is 9. One of these is stored as text. And evilly, I had to right justify it and then remove the green triangle so that way we can't tell which one it is. We'll see if they can find that and just see what we get. So we come out here to data and then clean data. All right, here we go. Table 1 may have redundant extra spaces. Do you want to remove them? And it looks like there's just one. So I can go see what that is, or in this case, I'll just apply it. But then they figured out that IBM and IBM space and I period B period M period are probably all the same. They have an amazing database of similar names, and it's all from misspellings in Bing searches of all things. So they apply it against the Bing database, and they understand that all of those are probably different ways to spell IBM. I click apply, and they'll fix those. General Electric, GE, and GE, one with periods, one without. They get that all of those are General Electric. Um, and then here in column F, they say that there is one number that appears to be text, right? So if I click on that, they show me which one it is. It's that 400, and I can apply. All right. I give all of those that they got. That was really, really good. But I know that I put one extra thing in here, and that is going back to when I was in accounting 30 years ago. We had our largest customer. We were selling computers to Walmart, and back in the day, it was Wall Star Mart. And our wonderful people, they sat right next to me in the accounting department. The accounts receivable people put that star in our customer database, which of course is a wild card and caused all kinds of other problems. So I put Wall Star Mart, Wall Dash Mart, and Walmart Bentonville, and Clean Data does not see any of those as the same, right? So it's getting a lot of them, which is great, but it's not getting all of them, right? You can't be sure that it's clean. And then I was kind of interested, uh, like at one point it was finding United Airlines and UA. I'm like, okay, how are they doing that? Because UA could be United Airlines or United Artists. So I put them both in to see what they find. And they're going with United Airlines as the match. So United Airlines and UA, they want to make all those be the same. And I would have to know this data. Like, is that right or not right? I don't know. Who are we selling more to? And then I started to be curious, is it all the airlines? So they see United Airlines and UA are the same. That works. They see that American Airlines and AA are the same. But then there's other ones in here like DL and Delta. Like I would think that they would know that's the same. WNCO and Southwest they would see. So again, it's getting some of them and not all of them. All right. It's great at finding text dates. It's horrible at finding text. I'm sorry. It's great at finding text numbers. Horrible at finding text dates. So this 4/30/2025 is text and they won't see it. Or this 4/31/2025. That's really common. Someone types a date that doesn't exist and Excel has to treat that as text, does not get seen. But the thing it is good at is extra spaces. All right. So here's a simple little VLOOKUP. I have a list of customers over in column A. I want to go look up A2 in my little orange table there for each customer, who the manager is, and I want to return I2. Actually, I used XLOOKUP instead of VLOOKUP, very similar. But even though Southwest Airlines is here, like I could find it, Southwest Airlines should be Sophia. I'm getting nothing all the way down. And the problem that we have is ABC stores here has no space after it, and the data that we're getting from the mainframe has a space. So normally we'd use the trim function or something like that, but here, clean data with Copilot sees that as a problem. I just click apply. I want to remove those extra spaces. And with all those spaces removed from the data, there's what? I think there should be 100, 500 rows. Yeah, 500 rows. Very quickly it removed those spaces, and now my XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP starts to work again. All right, so the team that put together clean data, not the core Copilot team. I had a chance to talk to those folks. They're very happy with their feature. I'm like, yeah, this is great. How about dates? Like, yeah, you wouldn't believe how hard it is to do dates. I would believe it, but that's one that they need to be able to do. So maybe someday we'll get dates. So we found ambiguous names and fixed them, and then detecting extra spaces. All right, Stephanie, if we could put up CP credit number 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, which of these cause VLOOKUP to fail? A, hidden trailing spaces. B, upper versus lowercase. C, the table not sorted. Or D, if it's a leap year. All right.
Few more seconds. All right, here we go. Yeah, a little more people are answering this time.
Yeah, look at that. That's good.
All right, last call, guys. 3, 2, 1. All right,
All right.
there we go.
Good. Hidden trailing spaces is the absolute right answer. Upper and lowercase has no problem with that. Table not sorted. That's an old rumor that the table has to be sorted. With XLOOKUP, it definitely doesn't have to be sorted. With VLOOKUP, it only had to be sorted when you're using the comma true version, the approximate match. And leap year, I don't know. I just threw that one in. So yeah, to everyone who said hidden trailing spaces, that's really good. Okay, next up. I'm super excited about this new book that I have out. Usually I write Excel books. This is like only the second book I've written that's not an Excel book. It's called Train Your Own GPT. And let me tell you about my journey with ChatGPT and Copilot. It was always, I would ask it weird Excel questions to see if I could trip it up. That's my hobby, like try and make them look stupid. But then I would go there and I would say, hey, it's someone's birthday, write an Excel poem for them. Or it's someone's birthday, write a song for them. Or, just stupid things. I was just doing just stupid, funny, silly things with ChatGPT and with Copilot. And then I discovered something called a custom agent in Copilot or a custom GPT in ChatGPT, right? And so I'm going to come out here to the web browser. Actually, I already have it open. So here I am at m365.cloud.microsoft. And on the left-hand side, they have this thing called an agent. Right? And if we go to agents, there is already a create an agent. They actually have a link now, create agent. The ability to create an agent, there's 2 different paths. All right, maybe we'll come to ChatGPT. It's identical in each case. Yeah, either describe or configure. This is how simple it is to build an agent. So you need a name for your agent, what your agent does, and a description for your agent. And then here, this is where you put the instructions in, what you want the agent to do. And then knowledge is where you upload maybe an Excel file that has the knowledge that you want, right? So I've built an agent called the MrExcel Video Finder. And if we take a look at how I built that, let's see, it is right here, ... edit. So type a few keywords and this tool will find matching videos. The instructions, you're a librarian of a collection of 2,400 YouTube videos about Microsoft Excel. And down here in the knowledge, I uploaded this huge library, like has 10 million characters in column B and 10 million characters in column E. It's a massive file. And so the idea is that I can type a few keywords and it'll go find the matching videos, right? Now, this is in Copilot. And the amazing thing about Copilot is if we come here to the Copilot window, turn on autosave. All right, let's do that. Autosave on. And this little hamburger menu here. All right, hang on. We'll close and reopen that. Copilot. Little hamburger menu. There we are. So all of the custom agents that I've built are available to me right here in Excel, which I think is awesome. So I'm looking for the video finder. Let's find everything. I don't know. Let's do the goal seek. Anything about goal seek. That's a nice little feature in Excel. And now it's going to go out and search those 10 million characters of YouTube transcripts and try and find all of the videos that do that. All right, so I'm gonna let that run. I know that it takes about 45 seconds to go through all of that data. I'm gonna pop over here to ChatGPT. I'm sure a lot of you have been in ChatGPT. New chat. This is where you can ask it to, write a poem about pivot tables. And of course, it'll create some lighthearted ode. It even knows I'm MrExcel. I love that it calls me MrExcel. Right? I mean, how silly is that? But the real thing here is over in GPT. To me, the real thing is over in GPTs. I have all of these stupid, insane, mundane tasks that I have to do. And I have written little custom GPTs where I give it the rules of how to take this mundane task, how to start from this and make it into that. Here's just one crazy little example. I have YouTube videos and I have the transcript of those videos, and the transcript comes to me in a horrible format that looks really bad when I put when I put it in YouTube. And so I paste this horrible format with no paragraphs, no structure, and I've taught it how to go through and look for each sentence, put each sentence in its own paragraph, right? So it's creating these little bite-sized um, captions. And this used to take me 40 minutes for every single video, right? And now, in 10 minutes, I taught it what to do. I even taught it that I'm notorious for using a run-on sentence, and it looks for the word and it breaks the sentence into two sentences, um, and capitalizes the second sentence. Just, it's doing something that for me was a terrible 40-minute task. And again, in ChatGPT, if I want to edit this, it's the exact same. Oh, here, it's right up here. Edit GPT, it's the exact same workflow where you have create and configure, you give it a name, you give it a description, and then just explain what you're trying to do. And when it was failing, I actually went back to ChatGPT and said, all right, here, I'm creating a custom GPT. It's not doing what I needed to do. This is the instruction. Tell me why it's wrong. It's like, oh yeah, well, that instruction was ambiguous. We don't understand that. And once I created the first one of these, I started creating all kinds of things to make life easier for me. Now, in Copilot, if you have the right plan, it's free. In ChatGPT, I'm paying $20 a month for that. And I'm just super happy with that. I actually went through and wrote this book as a short little book. Plus, it's 128 pages, right? Quick read that talks about all those GPTs that I built. Now, for me, finally, it's just saved me all kinds of time. I have processes I give it an Excel file, and it breaks the Excel file out. I am super, super happy and excited about these agents in ChatGPT or agents in Copilot. That's what Copilot calls them. It's funny. You can tell it's the exact same process in both. The partners, obviously, Microsoft got all this from OpenAI. Okay, all right, good. That gets us through agents. Next up, this is the Copilot function. This just came to us on Monday of this week, and I'm going to show you both the new function and the function that's actually been available to us for a while if you're allowed to install add-ins. All right, so this is brand new. You have to be on Insiders Fast. If you are on Microsoft 365, the monthly channel, I'm going to guess it's probably going to be about December before you get this. And if you're on the semi-annual channel, unfortunately, you're probably not going to see it till July of next year. This is a good reason to go to your IT department and say, hey, I really want to be on Insiders Fast to try these things out. Okay, so the idea is we're going to have a formula called equal Copilot, and usually have some text here in prompt part one, and then point to some cells. And then you can further have more of the prompt and point to more cells, and you can keep going like that. Okay, so let me show you this cool thing here. So I put in the city of Durham, North Carolina, and I put in some start times, like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. And then right here, I have a Copilot function, recommended activities for each time slot, D5 to D12. So I have one formula that's going to return all of these for a trip to, and then I point to the city name. All right, now this one, I don't point to any cells. I say return just the activities. I don't need to know the address. I don't need to know anything else. And then based on the preferences that I have over here, and I actually text join those together into a single value. So what I'm doing is I'm calling one formula, And it looks like there's 8 different cells that I'm trying to return from that one formula. And so let's try it. Let's put it in somewhere else. We'll go with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, PA. Still the same items: sports, dining, kayaking, and baseball. So PNC Park for a baseball game or tour, kayaking on the Allegheny River. Yep. Lunch at a sports bar, the Heinz History Museum. Right. Some of those I definitely recognize as Pittsburgh things. And then this formula, I can refer to that formula later, like go figure out the cost, estimate the cost for each activity in that original formula. So this Copilot is building on the other Copilot. Yeah, this is pretty cool. And again, you want to be careful that it's not really important things. Like you don't want it to go do math, but just something fun like this. Yeah, that will work. Okay, now here's the bad thing. You have to have a Copilot subscription. So if you have Office Home, which this is would be a great place to use it, you're not going to have it. And then they limit it to 100 functions per 10 minutes, which seems like you could blow through that really, really quickly. So you have to be super careful to try and refer to a range. Like don't have 100 formulas because you'll run through this. Like for example, here I have this 100 cities over in column A, 100 cities over in column A, and I have one formula that refers to all 100 cities, and it's for returning 2 columns. So that counts as one run against my quota, one of the 100, if I would let that recalculate, right? So you have to be really thoughtful and really careful. Otherwise, you get that at 300 and then you have to wait till the next hour. Uh, I don't know what Microsoft is thinking here. They're just trying to make our life a little bit more difficult. Um, the funny thing is that this feature actually has been in Excel if you have the Excel Labs add-in. This is the group of Microsoft employees in Cambridge, England. They brought us Fuzzy Match back in 2010, which is now part of Power Query. They're thinking about like what's going to happen down the road. And Excel Labs has had a function called labs.generativeai for a couple of years, right? And now, is this perfect? It's not perfect either. You have to get an API key, which they tell you how to do, and you have to give it a credit card, right? So, I've run like 3,000 formulas through here, and I go look, and my credit card was billed 42 cents, all right? But if I wanted to spend the 42 cents, I appreciate the fact that I can spend the 42 cents with labs.generative AI, right? So here, let's try labs.generative AI. I have a nice little question over here. Write 3 sentences about the strength of this company. I put a space at the end of that. And then I have a list of companies over in column A. These were people that I met at the Ascend conference in Orlando. And then just join those two things together. So I have a question that I want to pass to OpenAI. So labs.generative AI, point to that question. And it goes out and it's going to find me 3 sentences. And I double click to copy that down. And it'll go out and make all of those calls to ChatGPT. And again, this is going to cost a penny or 2 cents, but I don't have to worry about hitting that 100 unit limit. I also appreciate that they let me choose which model to use, including, is GPT-5 in here yet? No, not yet. But I can choose, an older model that would be less expensive. And the Copilot function right now is just stuck on one model, GPT-4o, which was trained a year ago. So if you need something that happened last week, it's just not going to know about it. So Microsoft is super, super excited about this new Copilot function. And if you watch my video, I'm like, well, wait a second. It's not as good as the one that we've had from Excel Labs. They'll get there. I know it. This is just classic Microsoft. Let's put out something that's not exactly ready, but it gives us a start and we can get feedback from people and it'll improve over time. All right, Stephanie, question number 3.
All right, give me 1 second. There you
Oh, you know what? We don't have an answer to
go.
this yet. Ha, that's
We
funny.
don't.
No. Can we withdraw that question or no?
Everybody just click something.
Yeah,
Do
just
you
click
want to
something.
explain?
Right. That's funny. Good.
No worries.
Yeah.
Click whatever your heart desires,
Nice. All of
or
them
whatever
are
you
just,
think you may be.
yeah, all of them are perfect. That's hilarious. Here it is. One of the big things if you do a survey, right, you want to try and have choices A, B, C, or D. But then you always have that text field, right? And you get 1,000 responses to your survey, and you're trying to figure out, uh, what's is it a positive comment or a negative comment? And so there have been tools. For example, the guy that wrote Solver, they have a tool that will read all of your questions, all of your comments, and rate it as positive or not positive. Well, we now have that. All right, let's go ahead and share those results. All of those are great sentences. Um, yeah. Can I share the results?
Oh, I did. It's okay.
Yeah,
Do you want me to
great. Okay,
bring it
great,
back?
great. Gotcha, gotcha. All right, stop sharing. Okay, so I have four comments here about our favorite software provider. And I'm going to ask, rank the sentiment of this comment from negative 100. Negative 100 is super negative, positive 100, and give it the list. And Copilot goes out and gets me the sentiment from each of those examples. So, these are extremely positive here. They're all really good, right? But, and if you would have a negative comment, well, yeah, you can go look at those. I did this on my YouTube comments. I have 2,600 YouTube videos. And I went out and found the ones that really I got a lot of pushback on those. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. So there must be something wrong with that video. Let's go. If people are angry about the video, let's go find something, right? So this sentiment analysis is great. I'm glad that I don't have to pay $1,000 to the company that used to do the sentiment analysis. We just have it, right? Okay, cool. 1240. We're doing great. Uh, I'm going to go through the four things that Copilot originally did. This is when they introduced Copilot to the masses, what we have. It's called regular Copilot. All right, so just a simple little data set here. Regular Copilot is great at writing formulas, explaining formulas, conditional formatting, and then sorting and filtering. So we're going to start with some simple little formulas here. I'm going to choose one cell in my data set. When I first showed this a year ago, this had to be a table, but now it just works with a range, which is great. So I open the Copilot function. Actually, let's turn on autosave first. Yeah, Copilot. And suggest a formula column, summarize using pivot tables or charts. Python, we're going to show some examples of that. Highlight all cells that are incomplete in red. Right? These are examples. They actually have 20 different samples here. They have nothing to do with your data. They just rotate and show you different things here. So I'm going to say add a column to calculate gross profit percent. This is super easy. It's profit divided by revenue, I2 divided by G2. Just see how well they can understand my lingo of GP percent, meaning gross profit percent. All right, so they are thinking about it, understanding your data. I remember saying to Microsoft, like, what's going on here? Like, what's almost there? Is it really taking this long for you to figure this out? I think we're just in a queue with all the other requests, and they're doing that to entertain us while they're trying to figure out the answer. Almost there. All right, so they suggest a formula of equal, if G2 equals 0, then 0. Otherwise, I2 divided by G2. They add an extra dollar sign in that I wouldn't have added in because I'm not copying to the right. And they show me what it's going to look like. If I go to insert column, I love when I insert column that they left justify it, which gets me really upset because that number should not be left justified. It should be right justified. But they do that just to irritate me. As soon as I click insert column, they right justify it like it should be, right? It's just in the preview. Just in the preview, they're like, let's see if we can hack Bill Jelen off. And it worked. It makes me upset every single time that I see it. Although I should know now. Okay, so let's do something a little bit harder. I want to calculate a $100 bonus if the revenue is in the top 10% of all records. That's really tough because they would have to go look at all of the records in the database and figure out where the 90th percentile is, and then apply the bonus. So let's see how they do with that. Get that little colored rainbow over there just so that way you know that they selected the right data set. Although, I mean, it's all the data there is, right? Okay, so, oh, look, they're using the percentile function. I can even go into the show explanation where it'll explain it to me. and then insert column. Let's see what we got. Hopefully there should be some, yeah, there should be some people here that got a bonus. I'm just checking. Yeah, look at those. So it's checking to see if the revenue in this row is greater than the 90th percentile. That's good, right? And if so, $100, otherwise $0. That's a formula that would I would be scratching my head for a little bit. Like they probably wrote the formula faster than I would come up with the formula. So again, I I give them an A on that. Um, yeah. Every once in a while, again, if you ask this question every day, every once in a while it gives me some other answer that wasn't, not as elegant, I don't think. Um, and that's just it. Like running total, like calculate a running total for revenue. Calculate a running total for revenue. That to me is really easy. That's the equal sum of G2 and the cell above us. Let's see what they come up with. So they are looking at the dates. And this is really interesting the way that they interpret this. And it's something that me as an analyst, I never would have done it this way. So if we sort this data by date, and you have a couple of dates that are the same, like right here, these dates all on January 1st, they have the running total be the same for all four of those cells because they all happen on the same day. And I never would have done that for my manager. Maybe my manager likes this answer better than what I would have done. Like I would have just done straight out revenue in this row plus the previous running revenue. Never would have considered this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's better. We should have a CPE question. Is this better? Who would you hire, Bill or Copilot for that formula? I don't know. I'm feeling very inadequate that I never would have thought of that. Yeah. So uh, there we go. So that's formula creation. Let's go through and ask for highlight all sales, all rows with customer or sector in financial. Highlight is the word for conditional formatting. So when you say highlight, they should apply some conditional formatting. Oh, did not work. Please try again. Interesting. Okay. I think that one's pretty easy, but uh, didn't work. All right. We can also ask it to create a pivot table, similar to what I had with advanced analysis. They took that straight over. All right. So those are the original Copilot things. It's also good if you have a formula, hotshot that's working for you and some crazy formula. This is a friend of mine named Owen Price who posted this out on the internet. It takes one list, the second list, the red list and blue list, and gives you every combination between them using a custom function called a lambda. Um, Anytime that Owen posts anything, I can never understand what he's doing. He's like the smartest formula guy I've ever met. We'll turn on autosave here. I'll say explain the all pairs formula in cell F3. And it should go through and tell me how that formula is working. And it's actually has to go to the name manager. This formula is stored in the name manager that all pairs is defined there. We'll see how it does. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna make this wider. It's likely a custom Lambda function, not a native Excel function. Hmm. It formula outputs every possible pair, so each name is matched with every state. This is telling me what it's doing. I wonder if I can say to explain the Lambda. I don't know if it'll be able to get to the name manager or not. Okay, while we're waiting for that to happen. So these tasks, the old original Copilot tasks, um, not able to do that. Okay. Uh, a lot of times I feel like this is stuff we already knew how to do. Um, so I don't know. I'm showing it to you, and maybe if you're new to Excel, these are great. But I think for the most part, when I show this, is like in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, I probably could have done that. Maybe not as fast as they did it, but I would have come up with an answer. All right, so that's generate formulas, generate pivot tables, apply conditional formatting, explain formulas. We have all of those. But then, after Copilot was out for about 6 months, they came out with something called advanced analysis. And advanced analysis allows you to generate Python code and do all kinds of amazing things with the Python code. Now, we have 10 minutes, so I'm just going to take you through just a um, quick little introduction to Python. Uh, okay, so I have a data set over here sitting in Excel. And back on my formulas tab, I have this section called Insert Python. When this came out, I was kind of intimidated because I've heard of people talk about Python. I even had a book on Python, but I'd never gotten Python running on my computer. And I wasn't really sure, you know, it just wasn't comfortable. But I'd go out and I would look up Python. And so here I'm going to insert some Python in this cell. And what I'll do is I'm going to create a range. But in Python, a range is called a data frame. So data frame is equal to, and then just take your mouse and select the data. Right. So what they're doing is they're taking the data from the grid and loading it into this little variable called df for data frame. And then I can come here and say df.describe. This is like the hello world of Python. Describe the data frame to me. This happens to me every single time. The Python people are really happy to have a Python object, a data frame. Like, so we get this answer right here. And I don't get this at all. I want to see my answers in the grid. I don't know why this is useful. I don't, having this word here is just super annoying. And it's the default. Every time I do this, I forget to come here to this stupid little drop down and say, I don't want to see this as an object. I want to see it as an Excel value, right? And so they go out and they get me the count, the mean, the standard, the min, the 25th percentile, median, 75th percentile, and what the max is, right? Now that's just one thing that Python can do, right? But the idea here is we have Python living in the grid and any Python libraries that are out there that are supported, we can do. And I'm going to show you an example of something that we can do with Python. So what is Python and Python in Excel? One of the things I love to do is to create a word cloud. So uh, we have a bunch of companies over there on the left-hand side, and I use this exact same thing I did with labs.generative AI to get 3 sentences about each of those companies. And then I hate to get rid of the working ones here, but let's get rid of the working ones. Let's be really brave and assume it's going to work. Um, so I'm going to select this data, and I want Copilot to write the Python for me. Um, so if I go into Copilot, turn on autosave, right? And I'm looking for the one that says either Python or advanced analysis, give a unique insight using Python. Or I can just write my code here and say at the end using Python. So using Python takes, even though they're both called Copilot, takes you into a whole different world where they write the Python code for you. So I'm going to say create a word cloud from the text column using Python. Right? And when I do this, when I try and use Python, they're going to warn me and say, hey, do you want us to use Python? Which, of course, is a ridiculous thing to do. But it's Microsoft being Microsoft. So hopefully it's going to come back here and say, I'm going to use Python for that. Is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. That's what I wanted. Kind of weird. They gave me a little paragraph. There we are. So there's the output. I'm going to insert the sheet. And so there are all of the words that happen a lot. Now, like, boy, additionally, that's kind of a weird word to have as the largest one there, right? But a lot of people here using Excel. Uh, yeah, kind of interesting how this came up. And it's also interesting that they gave me just the result of the Python instead of actually the Python itself. Let me see if I insert the sheet. No, it's just adding in here. Okay. Non-deterministic nature of Copilot. I should have stuck with the one that I had. But that's a function that we don't have in Excel. There's all kinds of great charts that Python will do that we can do. All right, so I have one last example here. This is create a dashboard with Think Deeper. Advanced analysis came out, and then 6 months later, they said, all right, we have something even better than advanced analysis, and it's called Think Deeper. All right, so what I have here is I have daily sales for a company that has three product lines: hiking boots, paddle boards, and snowmobiles. They all have seasonality. Of course, you're selling snowmobiles in the winter and hiking boots probably in the summer, paddle boards definitely in the summer. And I'm going to ask for them to use Think Deeper and create 10 charts. Right? So we're going to go to Copilot, turn on autosave, and I'm going to say start with Think Deeper, and then paste my prompt. And they, again, should warn me here that they're going to start with either Python or Think Deeper. Oh, I'm having trouble. All right. Keeps telling me that autosave is off, but it's not. All right. Let's do the one that's already baked. So when I asked for this last week, they created this sheet where they explained to me what they're going to do. They're going to parse, aggregate, and missing value check. And then down here, they came up with 10 charts. These charts do not look like Excel charts at all. They're decomposing the trends, a heat map of monthly sales. So those are months across the bottom. And it gave me all of these dashboards from one prompt, which is pretty wild. All right, so that's the new thing called Think Deeper. I guess if I'm really impressed with something in Microsoft Copilot, it's either the Python, the ability to write Python, or the Think Deeper. All right, Steph, let's put up the last question, number 4.
Sounds good. There you go.
All right, create a dashboard with one prompt using which one of these? Is it called A, brain on steroids, B, overthink mode, C, think deeper, or D, control, alt, enlighten? Everyone's getting this.
And you have a couple questions in the
Oh,
chat if you ever want to answer. If
yeah.
you want me to relay them, I can too.
Yeah, if you can relay them.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay, I
all
want to give you
eyes.
guys a couple more seconds.
All right.
All right, last call. Hurry. Get it in there. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, good. So think deeper.
Okay.
Yes.
The couple questions. Someone says, how can we get Copilot in Excel? I don't see it under the data menu. I'm pretty sure you showed this before. I think it's a settings issue, maybe.
Yeah, or it's an IT issue, right? You might have
Mm.
to go to your IT department, especially if you're for a big company. They can turn Copilot on or off at the person level, right? So someone in your IT department is controlling whether you get Copilot or not. And unfortunately, if you're at home, if it's a home edition, you get 5 free accounts or 5 accounts with that home edition, but only the first account gets Copilot, the other 4 don't. I don't agree with this at all. Like you should just give it to everybody instead of just, one of the accounts. Like, what does that mean? Dad gets the account, dad gets Copilot, and the kids who are at school don't get Copilot. It makes no sense at all. So talk to the IT department first.
The other one is, can you use Copilot for translations?
Yes, you can. Although, hey, check this out. I'm glad that was a great question. We have a minute, right? Um,
Yeah, go for it.
yeah, so let me just get a sentence here. Uh, sorry, I'm off on my other computer. I'm going to copy something and come back here and paste it. And they just gave us a brand new function called equal translate. So there's the text. And for source language, I'm pretty sure that they assume it's English, so I could just leave source language out. And then I can go to, I don't know, let's go to Armenian. So that's HY is the code for Armenian. Look at that, right? So there's like a whole bunch of different, so equal translate that text to, wow, at least 80 different languages that we can choose. So if I want to see that in Swedish, and of course, I could copy that formula down if I had several sentences. So check out the new translate function. Came along, I don't know when, somewhere late last year. They added it. And again, Microsoft 365 monthly probably has it. The semi-annual probably does not have it yet. So talk to your IT department and say, hey, can I get on the monthly channel if you need to do a lot of translations? So, yep.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that concludes our session for today. And like I said, we will send out the recording and a lot of resources, hopefully by tomorrow, if not by tomorrow, Friday. Just, keep a lookout for that. And then, take some time to complete our survey after the session. We just want to get your ideas for other sessions in the future. But thank you again for joining us. And honestly, thank you, Bill. I look forward to going back into the book, the Train Your Own GPT, and doing
Cool.
some stuff because the YouTube
Yeah.
one is honestly that helps us in marketing, that's for sure.
Oh, it's just so amazing. And then, yeah, I know we're out of time, but the other thing I do is I take those cleaned up subtitles and it writes the description
Mhm.
for me. It writes beautiful descriptions for the YouTube videos. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. So,
Yeah, I do foresee us using that. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And thanks everybody. And if you have any other questions, always feel free to reach out and we can get them to Bill. But yeah, thanks everybody. And thank you, Bill, again,
All right.
as
Thank you.
always.
Yeah.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.